empowering you to transform your life. WasaHypnotherapy.com presents Thin, Healthy, Happy, giving you the resources that you need to create the life you want. I'm your host, Alicia Cramer, CEO of Wasa Hypnotherapy and founder of Thin, Healthy, Happy. On behalf of myself and our expert guest speakers, we'd like you to sit back and enjoy the show.
Today we have Kathy Demers with us, and she is on a mission to support small business owners and solopreneurs to have a successful business, the business that they dream of, and just as important, to have a great time building it. She's the host of the Business Success Cafe, which we're going to talk about because you're going to love this. She's also the founder of Business Mastermind Teams, and another topic that I think you're really going to get a lot of value out of. Kathy has been recognized for her outstanding success in business. She has won the Canadian Woman Entrepreneur Award. That's pretty impressive, Kathy. The Business in Vancouver Top 40 Under 40 Award, and has twice been nominated for the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award. So Kathy is going to share so much great information with us, and I have to welcome you, Kathy. How are you today?
You know, I am doing just fantastic, thank you. But, you know, I'm going to bust myself here. I don't want people to think I'm kind of new at this business thing. I no longer qualify for the Top 40 Under 40 Award. Not by a long shot. So I want people,
that's okay. You've been in business for, what, over 20 years? Right?
Yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah, going on close to 30 now.
So
yeah, it's quite something when you start counting your life in 30-year increments. Holy smokes.
Well, you're certainly experienced. There's no doubt about that. You know, you've done a lot of awesome things working for other companies, but what really excites me is what you're doing with your own companies. And I have to ask you, what inspired you to do these things like the Business Success Cafe and the Business Mastermind Teams? And I know they're two slightly different different areas that you focus on, but why don't you just take a little bit of time to introduce our listeners to what the Business Success Cafe is and what the Business Mastermind Teams are, and then tell us what your inspiration is, and because I know you're passionate about helping entrepreneurs. So yeah. I'm just going to turn it over to you and let you tell us your story.
Yeah, you know, I would just love to do it. It is an extreme passion of mine. I'm very passionate about it. I still need to get my tongue working today, I guess. But I'll just go over just real quickly what these two programs are, and then I am going to answer your question about what inspired me to offer both of these. So first of all, the Business Success Cafe, and I'm going to tell people how they can go and register for the cafe in just a moment. But the Business Success Cafe is free. It's 20 minutes weekly, and we cover all kinds of different topics that help small business owners grow their businesses. I like to call it the perfect coffee break for busy business owners. We can all take 20 minutes out of our day to get some really important information. And we interview experts from around the world on a variety of different topics every week. So again, it's free. You can just come and sign up, and once a week we have this 20-minute event. And I want to say, Alicia, you are one of our expert speakers coming up. So not only are you in good company, but boy, so are they, because I know you've got some really valuable information to share, and I'm thrilled to have you on the program. Now, where they can actually go and sign up for this is this email, this web link I'm going to give you. Is budearl.com/ and I've just shortened it. It's Alicia Cafe. So I'll just spell that, budurl.com/ Alicia Cafe. So ALICIACAFE, Alicia Cafe. So that's great. And then the other thing that I'm doing is I am helping small business owners make sure that they are in a mastermind group of their peers. This is just vitally important to me. It's been vitally important to my success. And so I've designed a program that is just fantastic. I really love it. And they can find that at budurl.com/ again, I've shortened a big long address, to Alicia Mastermind. So spell that, it's BUDNURL.com/ALICIA, that's Alicia, and then the word mastermind, MASTERMIND. I know it's kind of fast, but get that information out there. So what inspired me? Well, when I was growing my first company, which it's still around, but it's been absorbed by a larger company. But I was growing this company, and I took it from, just myself and my business partner. He was the technical brains of the outfit. I got to handle all the business and sales side of things. And when I started that, one of the very first things that I did was I joined a mastermind group of my peers. And one of the very first things that he did was he spent all the money that we had, which was about $10,000. Sounded like a lot, but he spent it on one computer, and it was gone. And at that time, computers were more expensive, and we really needed it. So we really needed to find some ways to bootstrap our business. And it was in the company of my mastermind group that I really learned a couple of things. Well, I learned a lot of things about starting and growing a business. And eventually, I took that business and listed it on the stock exchange. So that business is how I made basically my first million. But what I also learned was that I really love helping small business owners grow their businesses. So there's two things that are sort of really core values for me, and one is the whole idea of growth and learning, and the other is prosperity, really allowing people and helping them be prosperous. Now, to me, prosperity includes money, certainly, but it's more than that. When a person feels prosperous, they feel joyful, and I so believe that growing businesses is fun. It can be just a tremendously rewarding endeavor, and not just financially. So I am on this mission to make sure that small business owners are not one of those god-awful statistics we keep hearing about, but that they have an opportunity to really grow their businesses and have a great time doing it. And these two things that I have founded and host the Business Success Cafe and Business Mastermind teams are how I do it. So that's my strategy for fulfilling my mission, to make sure that people have very successful businesses, and that they feel prosperous and have fun.
I love that. And I have to say that I've listened to some of the interviews that you've had on the Business Success Cafe, and they are fabulous. You're really just no fluff, right to the point, great content, great information, and you're really providing people with a resource that it almost it almost streamlines valuable business building growth information that encompasses some of the most really looked over, kind of passed over areas in business. And I mean, what you're doing, I think, is great, and I highly recommend that everybody check it out.
Butterl.com/Alicia Cafe. I like that you mentioned that, Alicia, because as one person who attended the cafe recently told me, she said, I don't even know what I don't know. And so, obviously in 20 minutes we're not going to teach everybody everything for sure, but we do give people an idea of some of the gaps that they may have, and where to go and fill those information gaps. So thank you for that. That is one of the things that we do try and do, is highlight some areas that business owners should be paying attention to.
Right, and all it takes sometimes is that one new idea or strategy that you can implement, that missing piece that is really going to take your business to the next level.
Absolutely.
And you don't know what you don't know, and chances are, if you're not where you want to be, and even if you are where you want to be, it certainly never hurts to learn new information and really just allow yourself to expand, especially the way that business is changing. I'm sure that you've seen a lot of changes over the past 20 years, from the way that businesses used to run to the way that they run now.
I started working with Microsoft in the mid-'80s, and then in the early 90s with IBM, and I thought I was used to a fast rate of change. I thought I was. Being in high tech, things are changing continually, but I've never seen change as rapid as it is now, ever. I'm a bit shocked by how things have sped up, and yet, the basics in business growth remain the same. They really do. So I like to tell people the questions haven't changed. The answers may have, but the questions we need to ask ourselves really haven't changed in hundreds of years, really.
Well, why don't you tell us about that? Tell us what are the questions, and what is the foundation to success in business?
Well, I think probably a really good way to structure this is to focus in on what are the mistakes that small business owners continue to make, or what are the things that they continue to ignore at their peril. And again, the solutions for some of these may change somewhat, but mostly they don't. And these are issues that have plagued small business owners, or problems, or pitfalls they fall into over and over again, which is part of the reason why we see the statistics about small business failure being what they are. So let me just highlight each of those really briefly, Alicia. Would that be a good strategy? Okay. So there are three in my mind, three major mistakes that small business owners continue to make that really jeopardize their business success. And I think if we keep these in mind and stay on top of putting solutions in place for them, then we're in much better place for success. So the first one is a failure to plan. And, when people hear this, they're going to groan. They're going to, oh, my gosh, there's that one again? We keep hearing this one, a failure to plan. And, the saying, if you fail to plan, then plan to fail. But I've got to tell you that even though intellectually people know this, they know they need a plan for their business. I'm not talking the big, 50-page plan you would take to a bank if you were going to go and get financing or something. I'm talking like a 2-page business plan. And a lot of people just don't take the time to put this in place. I was talking to someone the other day, and she was very busy doing a number of different things in her business, really busy. She had some great things going on, and I asked her, I said, well, what is your plan for making money from this? And she said, I don't know. And she's been doing this for over a year and thought she had a successful business because she had a lot of activity going on. And I was kind of shocked. And, I said to her, I said, you need a plan. You need a plan that includes at least a couple of paragraphs on how you're going to make money from all this work. And, very astute woman she'd been around. So if people are listening to this thing, if you don't have a documented, 2 to 4 page business plan, then you're really designing your business for failure, not success. And again, it's going to sound like something that you've been told 1,000 times before, but if you don't have one, this is the one major mistake that I continue to see small business owners making over and over and over again. So failure to have a plan, and of course you want to fine-tune the plan as things go on, but, again, it's one of those areas where the question is the same. Do you have a plan? Your answers may change, but the question is there. So that's one. The second one that I would say is a really important mistake that I see small business owners continue to make time and time again, even though we know better, is to not take structured time out to work on your business. So it's a failure to work on your business instead of just in your business. Yeah, we get so tied up in what I call the emergencies du jour. All that busy work, that we're not really working on our business. We're not looking at our strategies. We're not putting in place, for example, maybe an outsourcing tactic for particular jobs. We're not asking for help where we should be asking for it because we don't step back long enough and take some specific time to work on our business. There's one of the business classic books. It's called The E-Myth. Or the E-Myth Revisited, and the subtitle is Why Small Businesses Fail and What to Do About It. And in the E-Myth, the number one strategy is work on your business, not just in it. But again, it's one of these things we read about, we hear about, and most of us don't do it. Now, I think, Alicia, the reason why most of us don't do it is because we don't really have a structure for it.
Mm-hmm.
We think it's a good thing to do. We'll get to it next week or we'll get to it next month, and before you know it, the month's gone by and the quarter's gone by, and before too long, the year's gone by, and we've been busy and we're exhausted, but we haven't really taken the time out to work on our business. And I think the missing link, the missing piece for most people is to have a way to structure it into your business so you actually do it because you have some time set aside. And I'm going to tell people in a minute some solutions to some of this. But I think that's the reason why, even though we know we should, we often don't. It gets put on the back burner.
Yep.
Like I said, we get busy. We get busy handling the tactical pieces of the business.
Oh yeah, and once you're in that habit, it's very difficult to break out of it.
Oh, you're absolutely right. It's a work habit.
Yeah, it is. It is. And really, once you sit down and you start to really connect with what you're creating in your business at that deeper level, it can really reignite the passion, and it allows your mind to open up and get creative.
Wow.
Maybe there's some area of your business that has literally been draining you because it's not working, it's not right for you, and you haven't taken the time to sit back and be objective.
Yeah. Or maybe there's an area of your business which is just littered with gold nuggets, and you can't see it.
Right.
Because you are so busy working your way through your task list.
Yep.
Now, it's interesting because for those of us who have come from having a job, and I think pretty much most people listening have had a job at some point, and they've had a boss. When you have a job and a boss, you have a built-in structure. It's designed for you. You've generally got hours set, or at least you have objectives. And every once in a while, your boss, because his or her boss told them to, sets aside some time to work on strategies and planning. You'll get called into a planning session or a strategy meeting or whatever. So when you have a boss and a job, you have that kind of structure kind of built for you. But as a small business owner, you have to build your own structure. You have to find a way to build that structure in. One of the fabulous things about being a small business owner is we have a ton of flexibility about how we spend our time. I laughingly say
sometimes that's good and sometimes
that's
bad.
We get to choose what 12 hours a day we want to work.
Yeah.
Sort of kidding. But it's true. Yeah, I get to choose which 12 hours a day I want. But, that can be our Achilles heel, all that flexibility. Because when we're in a large organization, one of the reasons they work well is because they put some structure in place to overcome some of these other problems. And, one of the problems we face as small business owners is we're always faced with a task list longer than we can ever possibly achieve. So it becomes a major challenge for us to set aside some time to work on our business because no one's doing it for us. So anyone listening, if I'm talking to you, if you are one of those people who goes, yeah, I need to work on my business, I know this, but you're not, you don't have a structure for working on your business, then get one. I really don't want you to keep saying, yeah, I'll get around to that. Resolve to put a structure in place to support you.
And it could be the difference between, really 6 figures and 7 figures, honestly.
Oh, not could be. It is.
It is.
Okay? It is. I guarantee you people who are making 6 figures, they have a structure for working on their business. They are not just starting with a task list in the morning and working their way through it, and that's the way they live their lives. No, not could be. I would say
there's no plan for growth. You're really limiting yourself. And I like to tell my clients, too, take your business seriously. Treat it like a business. That doesn't mean that it has to be, that there's no play or you can't have fun and enjoy it. But if it's just a hobby, you're going to earn a hobby income.
Yes, absolutely. If you're a small business owner and you're limited in resources, let's say you don't have a full team of people working for you, you're kind of strapped for money, a lot of people are in that position. You still need to think like a CEO. You need to, at some point throughout as you're growing your business, be the CEO, be the manager, be the doer, be the person who empties the trash. But what we tend to do is we tend to be the beer and the doer, and we never take the time to be the CEO.
Yeah, and it's a huge, huge mindset shift. And not just in your business and the amount of money that you're going to make, but really how you live your life. How does a employee of a business walk around and what are they thinking as opposed to the CEO of a company? How are they walking and living and talking and thinking and feeling? And and I'm not talking about some of the negative, stereotypical kind of cliche, rich people are walking all high and mighty or anything like that. I'm talking about the level of your confidence and your belief in yourself.
Yes. Yes. I was talking to someone earlier about this today, and it's that whole phrase. It's don't dress for the job you have, dress for the job you want.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So stop thinking for the job you have. Start thinking for the job you want.
Yes.
And so by thinking like a CEO now, before you have a cast of thousands, you will eventually get there. But I can't hammer this point home enough. When you're a small business owner, all that flexibility, as I said, can be your Achilles heel. So putting a structure in place to make sure that these things actually happen for you is critical. Otherwise, you will still be thinking about it 6 months from now, thinking about doing it differently. So we love our lack of structure, but as I said, it often gets in our way, especially when we want to make fundamental shifts on how we're doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking a ton of structure, okay? I don't do well in a ton of structure, but some of us could use just a little bit more structure, okay? I'm not talking a lot. I'm talking just a little bit. Well-placed structure, that'll work.
What is the statistics? Something like the majority of entrepreneurs become entrepreneurs because they want independence.
Oh, yeah. Oh, good. Now this brings me to my third top mistake that I think small business owners make, and I'm going to tell you about that survey. But the third mistake that I think small business owners continue to make, can seriously put your business on the verge of tanking, to just be blunt about it. We struggle so much, and yet you're constantly on the verge. And that is insisting on going it alone. We just insist on doing it ourselves. And I'll tell you why we do that. It's such a common problem. Discover Card, about 6 years ago, did a survey. They did a survey of small business owners because they wanted to understand the personality traits, the characteristics of small business owners, obviously so that they could sell stuff to them more effectively. And so they did the survey, and they found that, there were a number of things that some of us had in common with each other. Like you and I, Alicia, probably have some in common, and I may have some in common with another person that you may not have. So we have a few that are fairly common, but there's one trait that was common amongst all small business owners, and that was our fierce independence. Right? We are fierce.
I know. That is why I got into business.
Yes. And so it's not the money, okay? I mean, a lot of us, we chase the money, no doubt, because we want to be successful in business. We'd like the money, but that's also part of how we measure our success. But of those people that were interviewed through another study, they discovered that 71% of the small business owners would not go back to working for someone else, even if it meant more money. Even if they had all the money that they needed or wanted, they would not go back to working for someone else. It's because they have this strong independence streak. We all have it. So it's one of the reasons why we leave jobs where we're selling shoes to own shoe stores. It's the reason why we may leave selling tires to own a tire wholesaler. It's why we might, leave working for a public relations firm and go off and start a business doing public speaking ourselves. We have this huge independence streak. It's what makes us really great at being entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. It can also be the one thing that gets in our way of success. It's a blessing and a curse.
You have to tell us why now, Kathy.
Well, because insist on doing everything ourselves. And yet when you're in a larger company environment, teamwork is fostered, working with others, gathering resources around you. And yet for some reason, when we become small business owners, that independent streak just takes over. So we we do things ourselves. We tend to ignore help when it's offered. We don't ask for it when we need it. We don't surround ourselves with support. we just go merrily chugging along, feeding our need for independence at the peril of our business success. And to me, it's such a shame because often, what happens is a lot of small businesses wake up in the middle of the night staring at the ceiling thinking, man, I'm going to have to give up all this independence and go and get a real job.
Yeah.
It's such a shame.
Mm-hmm. And it's extremely, extremely painful emotionally and psychologically to somebody who has literally put their everything into the business that they've created.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's incredibly painful. And even just the stress of thinking about having to be there is incredibly painful. So the solution is to suspend some of that incredible hunger and drive for independence long enough to surround yourself with some help that would work, some support, again, a structure. So those are, to me, the very common 3 mistakes that us small business owners, and I include myself here because I struggle with these myself all the time. I mean, these are just things that, I tend to surround myself with, and I really have to work to put structures in place to offset them. So a failure to plan. And we don't have a boss saying to us, okay, it's time for a planning session. Let's go do it. We don't have that. And a failure to structure time to work on the business rather than just in it. Okay? And our fierce independent nature, our insistence on going it alone. Oh my gosh, do we do that? So there's a number of different ways to put solutions in place. There's tons of resources out there. But I've got to tell you, in my life, my experience has been that there's one solution that I recommend to people that really helps to address all 3 of these. And it's kind of like, I'm so passionate about it because it's kind of like the miracle cure, I think. For these three problems.
Now
it's not the only
definitely listening.
Yeah, so it's not the only solution, but it's kind of like the easiest one, I think, to put in place. And so that is being in a mastermind group. Quite honestly. When I first started my business, as I said, that was the very first thing I did was I joined a mastermind group. So I got into a group with my peers, other small business owners who were wanting to be successful and who struggled with these other, these 3 mistakes. And we really supported each other in a number of ways to grow our businesses. And there was a structure. There was a set meeting time. We had our challenges that we brought forward. I had people saying to me, okay, so, what is your plan for the next 6 months? Tell us about it. And I'm like, ooh, guess I better have one.
That'll get you moving.
As an example. And then they knew that I would be asking them a similar kind of question. These are just examples of the types of things that come up. But with the mastermind group, what you're able to do is you're able to, first of all, put in place a structure that really allows you and supports you to plan and have a plan. It also supports you to take that time out on a regular basis to work on your business in the presence of other people who know what it's like to walk in your shoes and can help you. And it also is a structure in which, at least for a little bit of time, you're suspending your strong desire to do everything yourself, to get some help.
Right.
So I think it's like, a very effective, simple structure that every small business owner should have in place.
I agree. And it's interesting because I think it was just a couple of days ago I was talking to, he's not technically retired per se because he still owns a lot of properties in a large real estate company, but he still meets with all of his friends that are retired executives, and they still get together and mastermind over business and life. And I think that when you look at people who have really achieved great levels of success, they do tend to recognize the value in that type of community and that type of support system.
Absolutely. It's just you just had me think about something, and Donald Trump showed The Apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
They're in teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're in mastermind groups. They're working as a team.
Yeah. Well, think of it this way too. When you have a problem in life, and you've you've stewed over it for so long and haven't gotten anywhere that finally you just get to a point and you're like, oh my God, I just have to talk to somebody about this.
Yes.
What are you doing? You're putting two heads together instead of one, and now you strategically choose people who are at or above your level of success to, really co-create these great ideas for your businesses, and amazing things can happen.
Well, it's really true, and I want to talk about the sort of who do you surround yourself with issue just a little bit. Because business mastermind teams has been, I think, very uniquely and somewhat cleverly designed to make this really easy for small business owners. Because what people tend to do when they join a mastermind group or they're looking for people to sort of, talk to, they tend to go to people that they know. Now, if you're lucky enough to be surrounded by a number of small business owners who are all looking to join a mastermind group at the same time and they're available and they're within driving distance, that's great. But typically it doesn't happen that way. And we tend to default to talking to our friends and our family. Now, our friends and family love us, Alicia, they really do. They do, but they're not our best support people when it comes to growing a business because they don't know what it's like. I mean, I've had small business owners who've told me that their family told them to quit their business. And that's not supportive to help grow a business, but they're more concerned about supporting them emotionally.
Right. And typically what happens is there is that I mean well, I just want you to be safe, and look, I'm safe with my job. I don't have to worry about the ups and the downs and all of the things that you're doing and experiencing as a business owner. So maybe you should come down to my level. And it is so critical to always have a support system that really gets it, that does have that same drive and those same characteristics, that same passion for independence and the ability to create your own empire.
So one of the things that also happens that I want to mention is that often when people go to look for mastermind partners, they'll either think, okay, well, I'll build my own mastermind group, which, really, is that a good use of your time? I mean, most of us should be spending our time building our business, not building a mastermind team. But there's that. Or if you're going to go and find a team to join, then typically what happens is people tend to default to surrounding themselves and joining a mastermind group of their peers, of people who are available at the same time and or within driving distance. Not the best criteria for choosing members for your mastermind group. So our groups are virtual, and that they actually meet virtually using the phone. We're using some fantastic, really cool technology. And what this allows us to do is it allows us to have up to 200 people, 200 small business owners all meeting at the same time, and then we use the technology to split them into small mastermind groups. What that means is that we're able to match you up with your peers based on a whole lot of criteria that really doesn't have anything to do with geography. Okay, so based on things.
Tell me again, what did you referred to that as, like the eHarmony for?
So one of our mastermind group members actually mentioned that. She says it's like eHarmony for small business owners. I'm like, yeah, that's it. So we match you up based on a variety of important criteria. I think that's what the eHarmony commercial says. So not just, do you happen to be available for a drink? And you happen to live in my same town or whatever, if you're dating online, but actually, who are you? What are your aspirations? What kind of business do you have? Where do you need help? Where are you in your business growth? What kind of market are you in? So if, for example, we want to avoid any competitive issues, you wouldn't want to be matched up with someone who has the same type of business as you in the same neighborhood if you're selling locally. But if you were, for example, I'm just going to pick something out of the air, if you were a veterinarian, you might be really well served by being matched up with a veterinarian in the state over. because
Right.
then you can really talk about, okay, how do you market to your local market without the competitive issues. There's all kinds of other criteria. For example, what is your approach to business? There are personality issues. Do you have a really clear sense of your plan and the type of support that you need? I was talking to a fellow not too long ago who was he was from Portugal. And he was a software developer. And he said, well, I want to be matched up with other software developers, thinking that would be good. And as I chatted with him, it became clear to him that he didn't need help with software development. He didn't need to mastermind about software development. He's pretty well covered there. But what he really did need to do was mastermind with people who understood marketing a little bit better than he did and could really help him with that piece of his business.
And you do that with each new business owner that comes into the business mastermind.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They do get a private one-on-one interview, and we ask them all kinds of questions. We really get to understand them and their business, and then we take a look at all the teams that we have accepting new members, and there are many, and we match them up. Now, one of the things that happens too, I should mention, Alicia, is that a lot of people who've been in mastermind groups before, they will tell me that their mastermind group kind of fell apart. For a variety of reasons. It fizzled out. Some people changed their business strategy. Other people left their business altogether because it failed or whatever. And so their team kind of fizzles out. But with business mastermind teams, because we have all these teams running at the same time, if for any reason you find you're not in a team that's working really well for you, just let us know and we'll get you into a new team, like literally within a day. Because we don't want you wasting any time. This mastermind team time needs to be really, really well spent for everyone involved.
Right. And you've put a lot of thought and work into operating a very efficient system.
Well, thank you. I think we really have, and the reason is because I want to eliminate any reasons why not. This is just, I believe, critically important. I really do believe that every small business owner needs to be in a mastermind group of their peers. So we want to make it easy, really inexpensive. You shouldn't spend any time at all trying to find a team, build a team, none of that. Focus on your business. And then, because things change, make sure that there's a process involved so that every step of the way you're getting maximum value. And it is so, I got to tell you, Lisa, I can tell people more about this when they come on board, but I spend a lot of time in these different groups, and when I hang up the phone after hearing what they're doing, what they're working on, the progress they've made, I got to tell you, it just doesn't get better for me. It just doesn't get better for me than that.
I bet. I have to ask you, what are small business owners, what is their biggest objection to joining a mastermind group? Now, obviously, most of us know that when people object to something, it's typically because, they've got unanswered questions or don't fully understand the value. So I really would love to hear your take on this, because I know how valuable joining a mastermind group is and how it can really help business owners to take their business to that next level and to sustain growth.
I love this question. I love it. So what are the things that get in people's way of actually getting into a mastermind group? Mm-hmm. Right? What do they allow to get in their way? And some of it comes back to these three mistakes. Right? They don't have a plan. They don't have a plan that includes a mastermind group or a structure like this. Mm-hmm. Now, some people don't want to come into a group because they're a little bit embarrassed, perhaps, that they don't have a plan, or they're a bit humbled by where their business is. But you know what? Depending on what your criteria is, you're going to find you're going to be in a group of people who go, yeah, I really thought I'd be further along than I am. Wow, that is so supportive. So you have to suspend a little bit of fear, I guess, fear of the unknown. Stepping into a group of strangers, so there's that, a little bit of resistance to get over. But you also need to decide that this is one of the things you're going to do to work on your business rather than just in it. In order to be in a mastermind group, you need to be willing to carve out some time to work on your business. And that's, I think, one of the big major resistances is people go, I'm too busy. When I'm not so busy, then I'll join a mastermind group.
I'd like everybody that has said that or caught themselves saying that to start evaluating and questioning, is this busy work making me money? Is what I'm doing right now, are checking my emails 5 times throughout my work day making me money? Or is this something that I can, restructure so that I can be spending my time doing something that is making me money?
This is going to sound really blunt, Alicia, but I'm just going to say it. If you are too busy to take 3 hours out of a month to be in a mastermind group, you're doing it wrong. You need to be in a mastermind group and figure out how to do it right.
Well, and part of that independence is having some control over your time and being able to take time off and to spend time. What are you doing to yourself, and what is going on in your mind if you are working in your business like a dog? Really, is that the kind of freedom and independence that you got into business, in the first place? And I think that
Alicia, you keep giving me these fantastic segues. I so love this. We didn't do this deliberately, but I love it. It's that independent streak. We're talking here about what causes the resistance in people to join a mastermind group.
Mm-hmm.
It's their own independent characteristic. It's that one thing that makes us fabulous entrepreneurs getting in our way.
And I know that, for me personally, it's one of the more rewarding aspects of, having relationships with other business owners is to get those creative juices flowing and talk about what you're passionate about and come up with new ideas to expand and grow. And, it's wonderful. It's a very empowering feeling to share that kind of passion with other people, and then to walk away from that and be excited to start implementing things, to be excited about working on your business, in your business. And that is why we do what we do. And if you don't have that, you need to get it.
You need to get it. I think it's just such a fabulous thing that we have all of these small business owners who are currently meeting in mastermind groups, and they've basically said, we're here to help. So all these people have joined a mastermind group offering help and support to their team members in exchange for getting some themselves, certainly. So anyone listening, if you're one of those, independent types who's just insisting on going it alone, you got to know that, with just literally a click of the button, you can join up with other small business owners who have said, we're here to help you. We're here to help you. That's why we're here. And we're going to expect some help in return. But it's a beautiful thing. It's all set up for you. But you do need to get past that independent, that insistence on going it alone long enough to get yourself on a team.
Well, and every time that we do something new, we really have to be ready for it. And I would imagine that there are some people listening that aren't quite ready yet. Maybe they're really, they're just not there yet, and they haven't experienced enough of the pain of struggling.
Oh, I don't think people need any more pain.
I know. It's so interesting, and I've talked about this in so many different types of topics. But really, the truth is that the way that we're wired is oftentimes we will keep doing what we've been doing until we cannot take it anymore, and then we'll be open to other possibilities and other options. Oftentimes that is when, it's the surrender. When I work with clients, in my hypnotherapy practice, I've learned to explain to some of them, especially if I can sense that there's a tendency within their subconscious that's a little resistant to making change, is that we have this like inner child, because our subconscious is programmed during our childhood years. So what will happen is that part of our mind literally is like a child having a temper tantrum when it comes to making certain changes in our lives. And we will be so resistant and throw up that big fight and make every excuse and kick and scream. And my son is too, and he's going through this phase where he doesn't want to go to bed at night, and it's that final just give it all you've got to resist against it, and then finally you just get so damn tired that you just surrender. And that's when you're able to shift into change. And that's when you're able to make the biggest shifts in your life, in your business, in your income. But
I think also, when we're ready, that whole idea of when we're ready, the teacher will arrive. I forget how that goes, but something like that. So, it could be that people who are listening to this now are listening to it because the time is now for them.
Yes. Yep.
That this is an opportunity placed in front of them that perhaps they hadn't heard of or thought of very much before, by someone that they never connected with before, and it could be that it is now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, isn't that the way that most of the best opportunities in life come to us? Is you have that sense of asking yourself or the universe, and you kind of put it out there and say, what, I need help, or, what is it going to take for me to make more money, or what is it going to take for me to break through to the next level? And then something like this, comes through, and it gives you that opportunity to grab it and to go with it and to be the answer to your prayers.
Yeah. And to do it differently. And one of the things that I so love about business mastermind teams is that it is a real simple solution. It's not complicated. It doesn't take a huge amount of time. It's not expensive. And yet, it's sort of, like I said, an all-in-one solution for these top 3 problems. And so for people who are hearing about this for the first time, I hope there's just light bulbs going off, really. It'd be so fantastic.
Can you tell our listeners again what the URL is to learn more about the Business Mastermind team?
I absolutely will. It's budurl.com, and I'll spell that. I'll say the whole thing, and then I'll spell it out. How's that? budurl.com / Alicia, or Alicia. I'm not sure how you pronounce your name all that well. Alicia.
It's everybody does it.
Well, being a Canadian, we kind of have different pronunciations for a lot of words, so I like to just be unique that way. But Alicia Mastermind, so it's budurl.com / ALICA Mastermind, MASTERMIND.
Is it? Do you have it spelled ALICIA? Or
ALICA? Yes. Is that right?
You misspelled it.
Oh, I can change it. Oops.
Alicia spelled ALICIA. Are you going to?
Oh no, that's what I've got. ALICIA.
Oh, okay. All right.
I just said it wrong.
Wrong. Okay. All right. Good.
Sorry.
Good. All right, people. So it's ALICIA. Mastermind.
Yeah, I'm not going to win any spelling awards.
See, just goes to show you do not have to be perfect to be successful in business.
Holy smokes. Oh, my gosh. I have a few people who can speak to my level of imperfection.
Embrace it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that just in this short period of time that we've taken today, you have really shed light on some huge obstacles for people. And I really appreciate that you're so passionate about getting this out to business owners, because it is true that what you don't know, you don't know what you don't know, and oftentimes it is what you don't know that will make the difference. So I certainly hope that, some of you listening, have gotten something of value out of this, and I certainly believe that there was a lot of value that you offered, Kathy, so thank you.
I really want to appreciate you for, first of all, giving me the opportunity, but also for, really assisting the people who are listening to learn more about business, to learn more about, how to really have a great and happy life, whether or not they're a business owner. So I really want to thank you for, for putting your time and energy into this. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I think that there's a lot of us that, we're kind of tired of seeing each other struggle, and because we've been there and we know how awful it feels, when you have a breakthrough in your own life, in your own business, you really, truly want to share it. The people that are out there, they're holding the secrets, to success inside and guarding it like, what is that movie, Lord of the Rings? There's that creepy little guy that takes the gold ring and, my precious. That's such a scarcity mindset, and there's so much more wealth to be experienced if we all just open up and allow ourselves to just be ourselves and do what we love doing and share our gifts with others and be open to allowing other people to teach us through their gifts and their passions. There's plenty to go around, and when you shift out of the scarcity and into that prosperity mindset, this whole world opens up to you. And I think that both of us, we're there and we're doing it, and we're, really attracting other. I know you're attracting some amazing, business owners that are out there sharing this great wealth of information through the Business Success Cafe, and I've attracted so many amazing people like yourself and others that are really just, they're at that level where they just want to give. They just want to do their thing and share it with the world, and it's a really awesome thing when that happens.
Hear, hear. Well said. Really. Wow.
So before we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to share with our listeners today?
I think this is going to sound a bit trite, perhaps, because it's been said and done before, but, maybe sometimes I think that we just need to be reminded of what we already know. And that is the whole idea of the definition of insanity. It's, beating our head against the wall, doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results. So I would just really like to encourage people, if you are not happy with your results in any way, in any part of your life, go and ask people what they're doing, how they're doing it differently than you, and go about doing it differently. Yes. That is just sort of the thought I would leave people with.
I love that. And if I can just chunk that down a little bit, even just take one idea to start with, just one idea that kind of resonates with you and gets you a little bit excited, even if you're a little scared and a little resistant, but just be willing to take one, even if it's a tiny little idea that just gives you that little bit of excitement and enthusiasm, and go and implement that and allow yourself to just begin to explore new possibilities.
Love it. I hope that they decide to explore a mastermind group.
I hope so also.
I do. That could be one of those things that they haven't tried before that could make all the difference. So,
highly
I'm with
recommend
you.
Yes.
Do something different.
Yes. Please do something. And, by listening to this, I really, truly do believe that the people that feel, they feel inspired to listen to this, they're ready at that place.
Yeah.
They're out there and they're doing stuff. And, this is just an opportunity for you to implement something new that is really going to really shift you to that next level. I truly believe that. So thank you so much, Kathy.
You're so welcome. Thank you once again.
Yes, absolutely. And one more time, give us that URL.
Yes, I'm going to give them both.
Okay,
because one is for the Business Success Cafe. Again, it's 20 minutes once a week, and it's free. Anyone can get the information. And we're really looking forward to your interview coming up soon. But it is budurl.com / I'm going to spell it ALICIACAFE, so Alicia Cafe. And the other is, again, budurl.com / Alicia Mastermind.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your busy day to listen, and thank you, Kathy, for taking time to share with us all the incredible things that you're out there doing.
My pleasure.